Just Chanel here.
Hey guys, it's Just Chanel here. Welcome to my channel. It is Sunday, so I'm back with another Versus video. Y'all, I've been playing around with my blinds all morning trying to figure out the best way to film this because I like this spot, but it's not working. So catch this glow, boo. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so dramatic. I'm sorry about the shadows and I may go dark. I may be super bright, but anyway, let's go ahead and get into today's verses. This week's topics are obedience and patience. This was actually suggested by a subscriber, so if you have any suggestions, make sure you leave them down in the comments for upcoming Sunday verses videos. I'm steeping some tea right now. I just used a tea bag today because this is Sage Cleanse, a Sage Cleanse blend, and I love drinking this on Sundays. It's such like a meditation vibe. Sage, citrus, and lavender. It's already bagged in a sachet, which is really nice, super convenient. I am using my infuser mug for this just because I like the fact it has a top and I can set my tea bag on the top once it's done steeping after about 3 to 5 minutes, and then I can use this tea bag again for a second cup. But yeah, check out Sage Cleanse on the website, shopquality.com. It's Self-Care Sunday. We're having a sampler sale right now, so up to $20 off. Self-care samplers, wellness samplers, detox samplers, coffee lover samplers, create your own sampler. Okay. All the samplers, boo, all the samplers. Okay, this tea is hot. Yeah, I think it's hot. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So I was studying the book of Genesis a few weeks ago. I have been using the Bible study. So this is from the Brand Study. Some of you guys may have seen this in some of my other videos or on Instagram. That's how I ran across it, on Instagram. And it's so awesome. It's an in-depth study of all the books of the Bible, and it's for you to study the Bible in a year. So how it works is you basically are to read the Bible. You can read or listen to the Bible, and then it asks you questions. There's about 5 to 10 pages per book of the Bible. And you can just sit down each night and really reflect on what you read or listened to each day. And it just, I mean, I love it. It's like so good, y'all. I'm actually going to do a giveaway with the Brand Sunday, so stay tuned for that as well. I definitely recommend, if one of your goals for 2021 is to read the Bible in a year, to get this, because this is just one of them. This is the Old Testament, and then I don't know if y'all can see, but the New Testament I have on my nightstand. So it's split up into 2 books, Genesis through Malachi, and then Matthew through Revelation. Is it Malachi? Hopefully I was right on that. I think I was right. I know my books of the Bible, but let me double check because I'm like, is it right? Yes, I was right. Okay. So today we're going to dive deep into Genesis chapters 12 through 23. I don't really have like particular verses for y'all today because I want to talk about Abraham and Sarah. I think that this is a perfect example of obedience and patience. We can learn a lot from their marriage, their stories, specifically on God's promise to give them a child. So we're going to start, oh, not my pen. We're going to start in Genesis chapter 12. If you want to study this, I would recommend reading Genesis chapter 12 through 23. And I will definitely leave the link to my study Bible down in the description box because I'll be pulling a lot of things from the study Bible to share with y'all today during this video. All right, so starting in chapter 12, we're going to really like zone in on Sarah. Okay, so starting Genesis chapter 12 verse 1, I'm reading out of my study Bible, and throughout this video I will use another translation as well. But it says, the Lord had said to Abram, leave your native country, your relatives, and your father's family, and go to the land that I will show you. And then in verse 5, it says, he took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot, and all his wealth, his livestock, all the people that he had taken into his household. And so basically God told Abraham to move, right? I thought it'd be a good idea to start here because when I was studying this, I was thinking, I wonder what Sarah thought about this. When we think of wives in the Bible, Sarah definitely comes to mind. Here, God promised Abraham that he would make him into a great nation. God said, I will bless you and make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who treat you with contempt. All the families on earth will be blessed through you, right? But I'm just thinking still, like these are wonderful promises, but I'm just thinking as a woman, like, babe, I done decorated this whole house like a Pinterest board, okay? It's immaculate. And now my friends are here. And now you telling me we gotta go? Like, we gotta leave? Dang, like I just think, you know, wow. But it's refreshing to read how Sarah supported this decision, believed in God's promise, supported her husband, trusted his headship, followed his lead, and they literally picked up their life and they moved. The Study Bible says Abraham had to decide between the security of what he already had and the uncertainty of traveling under God's direction. All he had to go on was God's promise to guide and bless him. And then it mentions that his obedience affected the history of the world. His decision to follow God set into motion the development of the nation that God would eventually call his own when he visited earth himself. When Jesus Christ came to earth, God's promise was fulfilled. Through Abraham, the entire world was blessed. What I take from this is listening to God's voice. First, praying to actually hear God's voice. And then once we hear it, listen and obey God's voice. Because our obedience now is literally setting us up for success, and everyone else around us, our families, our communities, it's setting us up for success in the future. I absolutely love this Study Bible. It makes it like just so easy to understand, and you can just dive deep and you literally can get lost in one person or like a couple of verses. That was just verses 1 through 5. Like, just to think about the type of pillow talk that Abraham and Sarah had, like, you know, yeah, babe, like God just told me that he's gonna bless me with a nation. Like, he's gonna bless us, he's gonna make me famous. You know, he, like, everyone on earth is gonna be blessed through me. Like, whew, you don't even know, like, what does that even mean? You know, like, if you really get that from God, like, and I mean, I just imagine it. Sarah's probably like, well, either she had something slick to say, or she was just like, well, I guess we better go. That's it. God desires dependence, trust, and faith in him, not faith in our ability to please him. This is important too, because a lot of us, we have faith in our abilities, our talents, and that's not what God is asking us for. It's just about, even when we don't know the uncertainty, the unknown, to put faith in him and not in, you know, oh, if I do this, then this is gonna work, this is gonna happen. We don't have to do anything for God to keep his promises. We don't. Like, he's a promise keeper. There's nothing, he's gonna keep them. Like, there's no special thing that we can do for God to keep his promises. Now let's get into Genesis chapter 15, verse 2. But Abraham replied, "O sovereign Lord, what good are all your blessings when I don't even have a son? Since you've given me no children, Eleazar of Damascus, a servant in my household, will inherit all my wealth. You have given me no descendants of my own, so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the Lord said to him, "No, your servant will not be your heir, for you will have a son of your own who will be your heir." Then the Lord took Abraham outside and said to him, "Look up into the sky and count the stars if you can. That's how many descendants you will have." And Abraham believed the Lord, and the Lord counted him as righteous because of his faith. Here we have another promise that God has given Abraham, okay? He moved, he's been blessed, but Abraham is like, well, you know what? I have all these great things happening in my life, but when I'm gone, like, I don't have a son. So what is this for? God is giving him another promise saying, you know what? No, your servant is not going to be your heir. I'm going to give you a son. Just let me handle it, right? Abraham was faithful. So now we go, this is where it gets good. Someone on Instagram, earlier this week on my Instagram, I did one of those post a pic, that little thing that's going around Instagram where you like post a pic of whatever the person asked you to post a pic of. And somebody had asked me to post a picture of my favorite book. And I was like, does the Bible count? Because girl, the amount of like love and drama and just knowledge and everything, it's a drama, really. It's like a reality show in this thing. But okay, let me get into it. So now we're in Genesis chapter 16, and it says, now Sarai, Abraham's wife, had not been able to bear children for him. So after now God has promised Abraham to have a son, they have moved, they've been settled, it says for about 10 years, and Sarah has not gotten pregnant. But Sarah had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "The Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Perhaps I can have children through her." And Abraham agreed with Sarah's proposal. So Sarai, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian servant, and gave her to Abraham as his wife. I'm going to go between two translations. This sun, y'all. Whew. I'm going to go between two translations so we can all have a better understanding of what's going on here. So that was Genesis 16, 1 through 3. Picking up at verse 4, it says, he slept with Hagar and she conceived. When she knew she was pregnant, she began to despise her mistress. I mean, imagine that. I get it though. You know, Hagar was probably feeling like she that girl now. You know, I got Abraham baby and you can't have no kids. I mean, but wow. Just wow. I mean, the drama, like the plot really thickens. Picking up at verse 5, then Sarai said to Abraham, you are responsible for the wrong I am suffering. Now, she may have not said it like that, but I mean, the things that she's saying, I feel like there may have been a little bit of a neck roll in it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I put my slave in your arms, and now that she knows she is pregnant, she despises me. May the Lord judge between you and me. And this is probably where Abraham, but why you got to bring the Lord into this now? You know, everybody want to talk about the Lord. But I mean, that's what she said. The other translation, verse 5 says, then Sarah said to Abraham, this is all your fault. I put my servant into your arms, but now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. The Lord will show you who's wrong, you or me. I know that was like, Abraham was in the hot seat. Like, what they say, the doghouse? Like, y'all think they slept in the same tent that night? So now in verse 6, Abraham replied, look, she is your servant, so deal with her as you see fit. I don't know, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to like that? But I mean, she did just say what she had to say. Anyway, then Sarai treated Hagar so harshly that she finally ran away. That's so sad. The poor lady, like, this was y'all idea, first of all. Sarah, this was your idea. You know, I got all these pregnancy hormones going on. Now Abraham don't care about neither one of us because he's just like, this is too much drama for me. And you done treated me now so badly that I'm running away because this is just a lot. I'm pregnant. You know, this is just like, I done got myself into something. I should never agreed to even do this. I didn't even have a choice, first of all, to even do this. Poor Hagar. It was just a lot going on. Something that I did learn about Hagar, though, the great thing about the study Bible is each person has like a summary. Can y'all see that? Okay, so here is Sarah in the study Bible. So every individual in the Bible, well, the majority of them, I would say that, you know, we can grab some lessons from. They each have a page dedicated to like a summary of their life, what we can learn from them, their strengths, their accomplishments, their weaknesses, mistakes. It says lessons from her life, talking about Sarah or Hagar. And then vital statistics, so who they were married to, who their kids were, things like that. And then also a key Bible verse based on that particular person. So one thing I felt we can definitely take from Hagar is when you read the rest of the story, God makes promises to Hagar as well. And it's like, you know, she was kind of caught in the crossfire, I would say, of all of this. But God sees us. So even when, you know, things happen in our lives that we necessarily didn't have much control over, and we then maybe because of that didn't make the best decisions, whether that was running away or lashing out at somebody, how she was treating Sarah, at the end of the day, God still sees us and he keeps his promises. God still sees us even when, as imperfect humans, we complicate things, right? Y'all, I mean, the sun. Let me drink some tea now. That was real dramatic. I didn't have to do all that. I don't even know if y'all are going to actually watch this video because the way that this sun is, from my YouTube research, though, they say the audio is actually more important than the video. Genesis chapter 17, verse 15, then God said to Abraham regarding Sarai, your wife, her name will no longer be Sarai. Oh, this is the name change. So we have Abram, who is now Abraham, Sarai, who is now Sarah. Okay. And then God said, and I will bless her and give you a son from her. So now God had to be a little bit more specific because maybe Abraham just didn't understand. Like, you know, God told him back in chapter 15 that he was going to give him a son. But now God is saying, look, you did some things I didn't ask you to do. You was trying to rush me, but I'm telling you, I'm going to give you a son. It's going to be from your wife, okay? Sarah, it's going to be from your wife. Verse 17, then Abraham bowed down to the ground, but he laughed to himself in disbelief, right? How could I become a father at the age of 100, he thought. And how can Sarah have a baby when she is 90 years old? So have y'all ever, like, you know how something is just for you? Like, God had pretty much told you that this is for you. But you're just like, ain't no way. Like, I can just see this. Like, y'all done went through all this drama with Hagar. And now God is telling you, I'm going to keep my promise. And I'm telling you again, you're going to have a son. And now you're older, okay, because you went through all that. You wasted a bunch of time. And you just fall on your face and you're just like, God, like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, so you're telling me even though I failed, you're still going to keep your promises? Yes, that's exactly what he's saying. God responds to faith even in the midst of failure. Whew, this is like, this is giving me life. Okay. Now, Genesis chapter 18, the subtitle in the study Bible says, a son is promised to Sarah. So not only did God give Abraham a promise, a specific promise that you and Sarah will have a son, he also promised Sarah the same thing. Because in the beginning, you know, God didn't promise Sarah anything. God just promised Abraham in chapter 15 that his servant would not be his heir. So here it's like, okay, we can both be on the same page as husband and wife that we're about to have this kid together. And as we read through Genesis, through, I believe, chapter 23, we know that Abraham and Sarah have Isaac, and that is God's promise fulfilled, just one of his promises. Okay, so let's zone in on Sarah and read what the study Bible says about Sarah, her little summary. It starts off by saying, there probably isn't anything harder to do than wait, whether we are expecting something good, something bad, or an unknown. One way we often cope with a long wait or even a short one is to try to help God get his plan into action. Sarah tried this approach. She was too old to expect to have a child of her own, so she thought God must have something else in mind. From Sarah's limited point of view, this could only be to give Abraham a son through another woman, a common practice in their day. The plan seemed harmless enough. Abraham would sleep with Sarah's servant, who would then give birth to a child. Sarah would take the child as her own. The plan worked beautifully at first, but as you read about the events that followed, you will be struck by how often Sarah must have regretted the day she decided to push God's timetable ahead. Whoo, because God's timing is perfect. And so, I mean, all of that grief, all of that heartache, all of the anger, right? Just in that time period, dealing with Hagar, and I'm sure they had some marriage issues in between that. Like, because they tried to rush God's time. They both agreed, right? So they say 2 is better than 1. That's why God wants marriage for us and wants relationship. But then sometimes y'all both just ain't making the right decision, right? And so, but, oh Lord, okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Another way we cope with a long wait is to gradually conclude that what we're waiting for is never going to happen. Sarah waited until she was 90 for a baby. When God told her she would finally have one of her own, she laughed in disbelief. Not so much from a lack of faith in what God could do, but from doubt about what God could do through her. That is it. Because we know that God can do anything, but doing it through us doesn't always seem realistic. The thing is though, like, he does all more than what we can imagine, right? Like we can't fathom it. There are things God will do for us that we are not able to fathom. And Sarah couldn't get it. She was like, a baby at 90, yeah, that's a joke. Like, what is you talking about? Like, I got faith in you. Like, I know you can do it, but like, what? Woo. And when she was confronted about her laughter, she lied. Oh, see, I didn't even read that part on video. That's why y'all should just read it. Ooh, y'all see that sun going down? Okay. As she had seen her husband do from time to time. She probably didn't want her true feelings to be known. In conclusion, the Study Bible encourages us to reflect on this story. So it says, what parts of your life seem to be on hold right now? Do you understand that this may be part of God's plan for you? God may give us something else to do while we wait. But sometimes what we need to do is trust God, pray for patience, and wait for his perfect timing. This is the perfect timing. It's the perfect timing, because I think that, you know, a lot of us, we know that we trust God, but we just try to rush him. And we can't take shortcuts when it comes to what God has promised for us, right? I'm all for working smart, not hard, but obedience is better than a sacrifice. So if you working smart requires disobedience, it's not worth it. You are going to suffer the consequences and go through things that you could just have avoided if you were obedient and were patient and trusted God's timing. A few more facts about Sarah: her strengths and accomplishments. She became the mother of a nation and an ancestor of Jesus. She was the first woman listed in the Hall of Faith in Hebrews 11. Now her weaknesses and mistakes. She had trouble believing God's promises to her. She attempted to work problems out on her own without consulting God. She tried to cover her faults by blaming others. So she rushed and told Abraham, you know what, go sleep with my servant, and then blamed Abraham afterward, was mad at him and got angry and started treating the servant bad. And it was just, you know, she needed to fess up and ask for forgiveness really for what she had done. Now, lessons from her life. God responds to faith even in the midst of failure. Whew. God is not bound by what usually happens. He can stretch the limits and cause unheard of events to occur. And then I feel like somebody's grandma. Okay. Then vital statistics. I hope this is relatable, y'all, because this is really like, when I do my Bible study, I really be in the Bible, like laughing at myself and my reactions on top of just like wowzer of what I'm reading. Then there's some vital statistics here. It talks about where she's from, her occupation, which I love this. I actually have this. It says, look, I'm going to show you guys up close. But next to her occupation, I wrote this because her occupation is listed as a household manager. She was a wife. She took care of the kids. Ain't nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm here for it. I'm going to tell my husband, you see this? Sarah was a household manager. That's what I'm trying to be. That's it right there. Okay. And then it also lists her relatives, her father, her husband, of course, Abraham, half-brothers, her nephew Lot, which is also discussed in these chapters, and then her son Isaac. Her key verse is Hebrews 11:11, which reads, "It was by faith that even Sarah was able to have a child, though she was barren and was too old. She believed that God would keep his promise." He's a promise keeper. Ooh. All right, y'all. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's verses. It was more like chapters. But if you need something to study, I think this is a great study topic. Obedience, patience, God's timing. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you guys have any other topics for upcoming weeks, let me know down in the comments. Of course, make sure you are subscribed. Order your tea, okay? Sunday sampler sale. Don't miss out. Shopquality.com, because I think it's a vibe to watch these videos every Sunday. Drink your tea, do your Bible study. It's a vibe. I love tea that's like addictive without anything in it. Like there's nothing in here. No lemon, no lime, no honey, sugar, nothing. So good. Yeah. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Happy New Year, happy holidays. I'll see you guys before the new year, I'm sure. But I'm on like a little content, I just really like this corner. So this has been like my content corner for the last few days. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a wonderful week. Bye.